Hello.
Hello, everybody.
So we're waving because usually you catch us when we're there thinking it hasn't started yet, and there's about 3 seconds of silence, isn't there?
Yeah.
So 3 seconds of silence. So anyway, welcome to, what are we called?
Mouse Scoop.
Mouse Scoop. Mouse Scoop. Must remember it's Mouse Scoop.
Mouse Scoop with the Trekking Tailors.
Mouse Scoop with the Trekking Tailors. So welcome to Mouse Scoop with the Trekking Tailors. And on this very special episode, we're not bringing you news.
No.
Oh, no. But we do have a massive scoop, don't we?
Yeah.
Huge scoop.
Yeah.
Not a scoop full of stuff, but a scoop full of loveliness.
Yeah. Is
Indeed.
that a thing?
What?
A scoop full of loveliness.
A scoop full of loveliness is definitely better than a scoop full of other stuff, I was thinking.
Okay.
I am the scoop full of other stuff.
Yeah.
You and Charlotte are the scoop full of
Loveliness.
So, what's so special about today?
Today we've got special guest Charlotte with us, who will bring in. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing good, thank you. Doing good.
So you've both got ears on, and
Yes.
obviously, I haven't because it would mess my hair up.
No, you're in.
Yeah. So there's no ears on me
Yeah.
as such. So we've asked Charlotte to join us because Charlotte is
A former cast member.
former
Former Disney cast member.
not only a cast member but a Disney cast member.
Is there any other kind of cast member?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think at the other place they call them team members.
Team members.
Oh, right.
We don't talk about that.
No, the other place. Well, we don't today. I mean, we do usually.
No, we do usually, but we're not.
Yeah,
talking
but
about
we're
that.
not today, are we? And obviously, you're a cast member from a Disney World
Yes.
as well.
From Disney World in Florida.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say any more.
because we're going to go and have a chat with Charlotte, aren't we?
Yes.
On there. So we've got a few slides and stuff and a few pictures to go through.
Yeah, but we'll start off by asking Charlotte to just introduce herself a little bit.
Yeah.
And tell us, where your love from Disney came from. What spurred you to want to go and work for the mouse?
Well, so been a Disney fan as long as I can remember. Earliest Disney memory I would say is watching Snow White and being so scared of when the Queen turns into the old lady that I ran out of the room. Our parents took us to Disney World for a once-in-a-lifetime holiday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
1999.
Yeah.
And then went back every other year after that.
Yeah.
And I think me and my sister went into the Disney store in Hanley, rest in peace. And we were asking for one of the planning DVDs that they used to do.
Yeah.
And the manager said, "Oh, Haley over here has just come from working there." And we were like, "Excuse me, I need to find out more about this." So she was telling me all about the program and things like that. And then when I left school, I didn't go to university. I just started full-time work.
Okay.
And my dad suggested, like, why don't you give the Disney thing a go? If you're not, tied down to a career, a house, anything yet, why don't you give it a go? So I applied, I can't remember when it was now. I think it was September 2010.
Yeah.
Or it might have been August, but around then. Had my first interview. It was a written application first.
Yeah.
Then it was a telephone interview, and then it was a face-to-face interview at Disney HQ in London, which was like
Cool.
And then I got an email. I think it was 2 weeks later, after the day of the face-to-face interview. And I cried on a bus home from work because I got the good news. So that was it. Yeah.
So you applied to do the cultural exchange program, didn't you? Because there's kind of two. Am I right in thinking there's kind of two programs?
Yeah. So I think the cultural exchange program is the more college program. So where they do it for a few months in summer, or some do it in winter.
Yeah.
The program I did was the cultural representative program.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're representing your country in Epcot.
It's like Eurovision.
Okay.
Country.
We'd be absolutely SCREWED'd if I was the Eurovision entry.
I was hoping you'd tell me you did have to actually sing as well then, Charlotte.
No.
On your audition.
Oh, absolutely not. They would have just said no, absolutely not, straight away.
Get out.
No.
Fantastic.
So I was going to ask you something then. I can't remember what it was.
See, it's gone now.
It's gone now.
All this
So
practice.
so the your program lasted for. Does it last for a definite period of time? Can you do it just for the summer?
Yeah, so the program that we do,
Yeah.
what I did, the cultural representative program, it's for 1 year.
Yeah.
The college program is for a few months. The only reason you might have a shorter program is sometimes when there's applications, there's usually a wait list. And if somebody is termed or leaves early, then you sort of take their spot. So you'd have a shorter time there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 12 months.
There's got to be a nicer Disney way than termed, surely.
That's how cast members refer to it. Well, it's short for terminated, which sounds a lot more sinister. You think I was terminated.
You've got a Terminator in.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone already thinks he's evil anyway.
Fantastic, I love it.
Yeah.
So we've got a few things to go through and whatever, and this is kind of like our first few photos of yourself on there. So we've got the one.
Hang on, just before you do
Go
that.
on.
So does everybody start at the same time, or do they have staggered starts throughout the year?
Yeah, it's staggered starts throughout the year. So my arrival date and arrival group was June 7th, 2011. Yep. I was the only person in merchandise to start on that day. There was a few other food and beverage. But they have, it's usually spaced roughly about 2 weeks apart, or it was when I was there anyway. But yeah, it's staggered throughout the year. So, which is, I mean, it's lovely because you do make great friends, but then it's like, oh no, they're leaving now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they haven't been termed, I like that. See, I mentioned it already.
What are the options that you can work? You have to work in the UK. If you're from the UK, you have to work in the UK. If you're from France, you have to work in France.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are the options for working in the UK then? Because there's no rides there, is there, in the UK? So
no, sadly not. We're never going to get that dream of the Mary Poppins themed ride anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends very much on what is in each pavilion. So within the UK, it's either food and beverage or merchandise. Yeah, we don't have any attractions. So if you are in food and beverage, you usually start at the fish and chip shop and then move to the Rose and Crown. And in merchandise, you have a rotation around all the shops there. So the sports shop, the tea shop, the jewelry shop, it's called the Toy Soldier, but everyone refers to it as the Beatles shop because it just used to be all the Beatles merchandise. But yeah, so obviously in Canada they have the O Canada attractions, so you can work in attractions there. But UK, it's just merchandise or food and beverage. There is a slightly different option, and they have the Historical Research Centre where you go and look up your family name and crest. So that's technically they're called an operating participant. So they're not directly employed by Disney, but they're kind of hired by Disney, as a group. But yeah, those are the only options for the UK.
Okay.
So do you think if they updated the UK, they just kind of, rather than fish and chip shop, would have a kebab shop, and rather than start, you start in the pub and you'd end up in the kebab shop at the end of the night.
Exactly. Everyone knows Epcot for drinking.
Take culture, then that's sorry, fish and chip shop, but it's kebabs and
kebabs
first, kebab at the end.
Cheesy chips.
Monkey dust on the corner.
Somebody's like monkey dust in the corner. That's a special Stoke added part.
That's a reflection.
That's fantastic. So we just got we're studying obviously these pictures just here. So you've definitely got a get up there. I presume that isn't standard uniform with everything that you've got a tie there.
No, absolutely not. So the standard uniform, although even that has changed, I know for the UK now. I think it changed about 2013. Yeah. It was the shirt with the puffy sleeves and the skirt and the belt. Why I'm wearing all of the rest of it is we were encouraged to do something that they call merchantane, which is you know, silly hat on, or you'll get a Duffy Bear and you'll dance to the band with him and things like that. So I think that one was taken on my last day, and it was, let's just see how much merchandise we can put on you for a picture.
I like that. I like term. I like merchantine. I like these two.
Yeah.
I like these two. So, you know, when you kind of were on your way there, did you have to sort out your own visas on there, or health insurance and stuff like that? Because obviously we've got the good old NHS over here.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was scary. So the company that you apply through, in the UK is called Yummy Jobs.
Yeah.
They help you with the visa application. So they send you the forms, they give you a bit of advice and things like that. You arrange your own appointment at the embassy and do all of that yourself. But yeah, Yummy Jobs just help you to get to that point.
Yeah.
The health insurance, you get, because of the amount of time that we are there for the program, the 12 months.
Nice.
12 years would have been fun.
Yeah.
Your class is a full-time cast member, so you get the benefit of the health insurance once you've been there. I think it's after 3 months. I think the first 3 months you arrange yourself.
Yeah.
And then after that you can join their health insurance.
Okay.
Can you remember if it was relatively expensive on health insurance for the first 3 months, or did you just wing it?
To be completely honest, it wasn't as expensive as I thought it might be.
Yeah.
I can't remember the total exactly, but no, it was better than I thought it would be. Thankfully, I had my doctors have known me, like I've been going to the same doctor since I was little, so they gave me like a decent amount of my prescriptions, so I didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't need to like claim any prescriptions while I was out there, so it was all right.
Yeah.
That's not too bad then.
Yeah.
And what about when you applied? Was there any cost to actually going through? I think you mentioned Yummy Jobs, or did you have to kind of stump up anything, or how do they make their money out of you, if indeed they do?
There wasn't a cost for applying. The application process itself was free.
Yeah.
But obviously you would have to pay for, getting to London to the face-to-face interview.
Yeah.
I believe actually the process now is 2 face-to-face interviews rather than one on the phone and one face-to-face. So obviously there'd be the cost involved in that. And you do have to pay for your visa and visa appointment and things like that as well.
Yeah.
You pay for your flights, but you get your flights home reimbursed.
Yeah.
From Disney. So
unless you turn, what happens if you turn though? Did you then have to stump up your own flight costs?
Yes. Yeah. It's not. I always. I think it now. Me and my other half are watching a lot of Below Deck, and they always get given a ticket home when they get booted off. No, Mickey doesn't do that for you.
No, Mickey does not buy tickets.
No.
So did anybody actually get turned when you were there that you knew? And if they did, do you know why?
I won't mention names.
No.
But I did know somebody that did.
Yeah.
It was unfortunately really, really silly. A lot of people kind of said, when there was when it sort of oversubscribed for staff, then they might be a bit more trigger happy and saying no, go home.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case in this scenario. But somebody I know said, like, I think in a heat of a moment argument in the break room said, "Oh, I could just kill you sometimes," and the other person said it was bullying, and then they got sent back in. but then others did much worse after that, and obviously short staff because they got to stay. So.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh well. So don't accidentally come out with "I'm going to kill you."
No.
Yeah. Try not to do that. Yeah.
So when you'd applied and you knew you'd been accepted and everything like that, when did you know where you'd be going and what you'd be doing and where you'd be living?
So you would find out your role straight away in the acceptance email. It said your role in the show is merchandise.
Yep.
So found that out straight away. Your accommodation, when you were accepted, I think maybe a month or so after, or a little bit longer, they sent out an information pack which had everything in it about where the accommodation is and things like that, and what the kind of lifestyle be like, that, you know, all about the transportation and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't find out your actual apartment
Yeah.
until you get there. So
Right.
you have no idea. But I think I was quite lucky. I got on with my roommates. My mum and my dad were like, "Oh, you're living with people you don't know," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"It was fine. It's all fine."
So is it like a college dorm where you've got to share? There's no single rooms, or
Yeah, there's no single rooms, and I believe it's been updated now, so they even have bunk beds. So yeah. Well, actually, I'm not sure, because unfortunately the complex that you can see in the pictures there, which was lovely. Like,
Yeah.
I think I took that picture in November and sent it to
Yeah.
my family, being like, "Haha, this is my day off, and it's in November, and I'm sunbathing with my
Yeah.
completely pale self."
yeah,
But yeah, it's very much you have to share. There could be I think the maximum is 4 bedrooms in one apartment, so that's like 8 people in
Yeah.
one apartment. I applied along with my friend Megan for a 1 bed, which is just us 2, and then it'll have just our bedroom, 1 bathroom, and then the living area. We didn't get that until about halfway through our program. But it was great. It was really good fun. And we ended up being in the same apartment that our friends had just left, because we had friends that started in December.
yeah.
So we got their apartment when they moved out, basically.
Oh.
So in like when you first got there, were you sharing with somebody you knew, or was it just complete stranger? And what nationality were they? Were you all, were they all the English together or the UK together?
So I had no idea who I'd be sharing with.
Yeah.
I happened to be sharing a room with a girl that worked in the UK Pavilion. She was from Northern Ireland. She was food and beverage. It was a 2-bed apartment, so 4 people.
Yeah.
And in the other room was a girl from Norway called
Yeah.
Maria, and a girl from Italy called Sylvia.
Okay.
Fantastic. So obviously you're just thrown together and you just need to get on that, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
That sounds good. So when you got the offer you 1 bed, did you take it, or did you say no? We're going to stay where we are. What did you decide to do in the end?
Oh no, we were let's go for it straight away.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I felt bad because the email came partway through the day when I was already at work. So my friend was just like doing about 50 trips up and down the housing complex to move all of our stuff.
Yeah.
So am I right in saying, Charlotte, that your accommodation was in Little Lake Bryan?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yes. So for people that don't know the area overly well, Little Lake Bryan is kind of very, very close to the premium outlets.
Oh, okay.
The Vineland outlets. Yeah.
Mary Queen of the Universe Shrine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's about what, 2-3 miles? Probably 2 miles to Disney's bottom, isn't it, by Crossroads?
Yeah.
At Springs entrance. So not too far.
No.
Yeah.
And did they put on any kind of shuttle buses or anything like that?
So the buses were, I mean, I wasn't sure how it would work completely. There was a bit of information in the pack, but I was like, how do you do it? So when you moved in, you got your housing pass. So it had your picture on it. It had the dates of your contract, and it did have a big stripe down it to say under 21.
No.
If you were. And basically there was buses, because the people that lived in the accommodation could be anyone from the college program or the cultural representative program.
Yeah.
Obviously, the college program, you can work anywhere on property. So you could be driving the buses, you could be in mousekeeping, you could be friends with a character, you could be doing anything. So the buses for the accommodation went to basically everywhere on Disney property. They had certain ones that were for the Animal Kingdom area and the hotel, boardwalk area and things like that. So there was a timetable, and you could go and you could use them on your days off as well. You didn't have to be working.
Yeah.
So that was usually how we got to the parks on days off and things like that. You could go absolutely anywhere. It was great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And what about food and stuff? Did you have to cover all that, or did you get any food thrown in as such?
So we didn't get any food thrown in, so we had to do our own like grocery shopping and things like that. So you learnt to love 25-cent noodles. But every so often for certain holidays or certain events, the housing would put on events and they do basically all you can eat food. So we just went and just like pigged out. So they had Cinco de Mayo and they had the 3 Caballeros turn up. That was good. They had a Thanksgiving feast and Patriot Mickey and Minnie were there and things like that. So they occasionally had events. And what was really interesting was for each country, a lot of the managers always talked about, how we're away from our home and our families and our country and all that. So when it was a national holiday for a particular country, they'd have an event and they'd have, maybe some free pizza and ice cream. So for like German Unification Day and things like that.
Yeah.
And the holiday that they chose to celebrate in the UK was Guy Fawkes Day. So we came into work on the 5th of November and we had piles of like Domino's boxes and loads of Mickey premium bars and Mickey cookie sandwiches. So we just went on our breaks and we just like, yes, have as much as possible.
Definitely.
It's nice of them to do that, though, isn't it?
It is.
It's nice of them to
It
do
is.
that.
Yeah. Did they charge you as well? Did you were leaving to say, right?
No.
Well, that's some of that. I mean, it sounds awesome, but obviously, what was your you mentioned obviously you had some tears on the bus when you found out you got it. It was fantastic. But what was your first week like? What were your feelings when you finally thought, I'm on that plane and this is happening? And then you landed, it's like, whoa.
Well, it was apparently really funny. When my dad and my sisters came to see me off at the airport, we had breakfast together, and then I went through security when it was time. And apparently, I just went up the escalators at Manchester Airport, and I was just like, right, see ya. No emotion, no emotion apart from happiness whatsoever. And then I was sitting at the gate, and it just hit me like a train, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. But I think I was really worried on the first day. And when I say worried, I think it was more just nerves, like, what if I don't get on with people? What if I don't make friends? Like primary school all over again. But because everybody's in the same boat, everybody's really welcoming, and because they know exactly what you're going through, because they did themselves maybe just a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Everybody's really understanding and really, really friendly and really like sort of accommodating to you and things like that. So I'd say maybe nerves lasted a couple of days, but then it was very easy to settle in.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And just tell me to mind my own business, Charlotte. But you can just say yes or no. It's fine. But was it a paid position? Like,
yes.
Was it? Yes, that's fine. You don't have to go any further.
That's good. So you
Because lots of people would do it just for the experience, wouldn't they?
Not Charlotte.
Not
So
Charlotte.
give me the
No,
money.
Charlotte. Give me them mouse dollars.
So obviously you've gone through, like, when you went for the interview.
Hi, bears.
There you go. You see.
There you go.
When you've gone for the interview, you've gone through the first week, which is great. What about your final day when you were there? As in, what were your feelings at that point? Were you kind of can't wait to get home, or was it a complete mix?
It was a complete mix. I think. Oh my gosh. I'd got used to the heat in Florida, but I think that day in particular, I was dehydrated from crying so much on my last day.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for you because you're a little ginger.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very, very strange because obviously I'd not seen I was very lucky that my family came out to visit at Christmas. I'd not seen like my wider family or my friends in a year. So I was really, really, really desperate to see them. But it is such a bubble, and it's because it literally takes over your life. So going from that routine and that job and that lifestyle and knowing that it's just going to disappear, it was very, very jarring. Very jarring.
Yeah. And you just mentioned Christmas. Siobhan there is that one to ask, what was it like you first, that Christmas away from home?
It was really strange because prior to that, me and my immediate family would always stay at home. We wouldn't like host people or go elsewhere on Christmas Day. We'd always stay in. It was so much fun. So my family used to have a timeshare at Orange Lake, which is very close to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And we went to our apartment there and we did as close to a British Christmas dinner as we could.
Yeah.
So we got turkey and everything like that. So that was great. One of my favorite, oh my gosh, this is just weird, was we were sitting around by the pool and I had a mocktail. I was sitting in a bikini and a Mickey Mouse Santa hat with a mocktail. Like this is strange. And I remember vividly, our first day when my family came over, we went to SeaWorld and there was Christmas decorations and there was Christmas music playing. And my dad was like, "This doesn't make sense. It's warm, but
it's warm.
There's Christmas."
When you just been mentioning your Christmas dinner, although we weren't in Florida, we were in New York one Christmas, didn't we? And our Christmas dinner was a hot dog in Central Park. And never forget that, just because it was so, like, in a way, like you've just said about your dad saying it doesn't make sense. Rather than having turkey and all the trimmings and whatever, we were just having a hot dog each, weren't we, in Central Park, and that was stunning. As any other Christmas lunch that we've ever had, wasn't it? Just fantastic.
But you just mentioned the drinking because you did turn 21 while you were out there, didn't you?
Yes.
How did it feel going from the UK, where obviously you've been allowed to drink for 2 years, and then suddenly you're being a big grown up, moving away from home, and you can't drink?
It was so strange. There was so many times where, because I wasn't a massive drinker. Well, she says when there's a picture of me there with the red cup. But just not being able to just say, "Oh, let's head to a bar and grab a beer afterwards." Like, nope, gotta wait. No, can't do that. No.
Yeah. So obviously, you don't have to answer this in case Disney come and the mouse comes to get you.
Back for life.
Was there a point in the accommodation where, when you were under 21, you might have had a sneaky drink or not?
Absolutely not.
That there was a pause.
No way.
Absolutely not.
No way.
Yeah, because obviously everybody from Europe is going to be in the same boat, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
and if you're from France, you've been drinking wines at restaurants since you've been 10, 9, whatever.
Since you were in the, in the womb.
Yeah, effectively. Excellent. So obviously, I mean, you're on about drinking, and drinking usually means friends, and obviously we've got this one up now that says "Friends for Life" as well on there. So,
yes.
How are you still in contact with anybody at the moment, Charlotte?
Yes. It feels strange to think that it's been over 10 years since I've known them now, but the girl with the black bow on her head in that picture, Kaz, and she's in obviously the picture next as well. That was her birthday. We are still super, super close. I was a bridesmaid at her wedding.
Awesome.
And Lauren, who's unfortunately not in that picture, I was recently a bridesmaid for her as well. We're still super close knit. My friend Kaz now lives in America herself. But we have a WhatsApp group that's constantly going. So if anything happens, we're still like right there for each other straight away. And when we do have reunions, it's mad. It's really, really great. So I feel very, very lucky to have. I think I met up with my friend Lauren in Manchester recently, and she put it very well in that obviously you've had friends before and you'll have friends after, but for a lot of us at Disney, it felt like finding your people, like finding people who understood your love for Disney and everything like that. Obviously, you've got the shared experience of living away from home as well, and it really does bond you. And I feel very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Did you get on with pretty much everyone, or let me rephrase that? Did everyone get on with everyone that you knew, or what were the friction, etc.? Was there anything where you're thinking, yeah, that didn't quite go as well as we were hoping?
As far as I remember, there genuinely wasn't a whole lot of animosity. There seemed to be not a divide as in we never mix with those people, but people in merchandise tend to hang out with other people in merchandise. People in food and beverage tend to hang out with people in food and beverage, but they did mix as well.
Yeah.
Like there was groups that would go out on a Monday night, and my friend Matt set up an alternative, like, if you don't want to go out, we'll have a movie night in his apartment, and that was always good fun. We'd had a couple of people that did, like, from food and beverage come to that as well. So there was kind of a divide, but not in a like we hate them or they hate us kind of way.
Yeah. It's just who you're working with more, wasn't it? If you're in merchandise, you're going to be working with them more, aren't you? So you're naturally going to know them better and speak with them more, aren't you? And if obviously if you're in food and beverage, you're just the poor relations, aren't you, against merchandise?
Well, yeah.
You can't. I mean, you said did you say merchtainment? What foodtainment? It's not quite the same, is it?
I mean, they couldn't stand there swigging Guinness behind the bar. So.
No, that's very much they do.
Yeah, they'd be turned up, or at least it'll definitely be quite good if you tried it, wouldn't it? Really.
Obviously, you've said you love Disney. I know that you still love Disney,
of course.
But did working for Disney, did it live up to your expectations, or did you find by the end of it you're like, God, I hate this company. I can't stand it. It's awful. The talk's terrible. The guests are delightful. I do not want to do this job 1 second more.
And don't forget, Charlotte, Bob Iger is watching now.
Love you, Bob. A few people have kind of wondered similar, like, has it ruined the magic for you? And honestly, it was completely different from what I expected, but also it gave me a deeper appreciation for seeing, behind the scenes, how much goes into everything and how much attention is paid to different details and how much is thought out and planned. It really made me think, like, it was so impressive, which sounds strange to say, and that's not like tooting my own horn. There was so much that goes into everything. It's like, wow, that's so much thought, so much passion for like guest experience and things like that. It made me appreciate Disney more, I think.
Yeah. Excellent. Did you actually get any free tickets, or how did it work when you weren't there? Did you go to any park and just get in because you remember, or did you have to pay, or?
So again, I think this system has changed very much now. But it used to be that you had what you called like a main gate. So you had a certain allowance of letting your friends and family in for the day, so they got free entry. And as long as you had your Disney ID, so obviously this is in the days before park reservations, you could basically just turn up to any park. Instead of obviously putting your ticket in the machine, they scanned your cast ID, and that was it. The only exception would be if the parks were at capacity, like on New Year's Eve. But besides that, it was you could just kind of go anywhere.
That's not bad at all, is it? Yeah. And you obviously start paying for your food and beverage when you were in the parks, though, didn't you?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. See, that wouldn't work for me, would it? That wouldn't work for me at all. So obviously you can get into parks effectively for free. But
obviously the one on the screen that we're showing you, one of them is not a Disney park. It's a Universal park. And I'm assuming you had to pay to get into the dark side.
Yes, the other part.
So we were just about to say, what else did you do, or what did you do on your days off then, Charlotte? Obviously, you went to Universal at least once, I guess.
Was it like 5 days a week?
So we worked 5 days a week and got 2 days off per week. And my friend Kaz, who's in that picture with Doc Brown, I think one of the reasons we bonded so quickly is because we were into doing the same things, like going to the other parks, and we had the same days off. So we were like, yes, let's do this. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
one of my
what were your hours, Charlotte? Was it like the park open till park closed? So for like Epcot, were you there to like after illuminations?
yes, so you
That's
could end up
long
working. Oh yeah, you could end up working a variety of different shifts. So you either could be there for park open, which for Epcot was actually only either 10:30
Yeah,
or 11:15.
yeah.
10:30 is if you were opening up cart and things like that, because
Yeah.
obviously World Showcase doesn't open till a bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron.
And you could end up working. I think the best shift, the favorite shift, was 10:45 till 4:45. I think 4:45 was usually the earliest that anybody could finish, unless you requested to leave early. Or yeah, you could stay till park closing. So we always used to joke that illuminations, like the first booms of the music and the drums, be like, lock your doors, close your tills, and all that kind of thing. I think the longest shift I worked was I did open till close on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's a long time.
That was 10:45 till 1 a.m.
Nice.
Wow.
But it was because Epcot's obviously known for a bit of a party park.
Yeah.
And we were all together. It was such a good atmosphere, and it was fun. So a couple of cans of Monster, and you were fine.
Fantastic. So go on. We're asking you what you did on your days off. Then obviously you went to Universal, and obviously you went to the other Disney parks. I'm presuming you've gone to SeaWorld as well, as you've mentioned that one. What else did you do on there, or was it basically that's what we did?
So a lot of the days were spent at other parks because I was kind of in the mindset of I'm never going to be able to do this for free again. Make the absolute most of all the time. But we did do a couple of other things. So there was nights out in downtown Orlando, a couple of trips to Clearwater Beach or Cocoa Beach and things like that. The Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party as seen on the pictures there. I think one of my favorite non-Disney activities on the time off was technically a little bit Disney. My friends booked with our cast member discount to stay at the Hilton Head Resort in South Carolina.
Lovely.
So technically still a little bit Disney, but not any parks.
How did you get there?
So my friends were one of my friends was over 25, so she could rent a car. So we paid her for the petrol. She did all the driving. So we drove up. We stopped off in Savannah. So that was really nice in Savannah, Georgia. Gutted because I completely forgot to go and find Forrest Gump's bench.
Oh.
But yeah, we did that, and then we went to South Carolina and we watched. It was Super Bowl weekend, so they put it up on a big screen by the pool. So that was quite fun, and it was nice to get out of the bubble for a bit there.
Yeah. Do you know what I always think? Well, I think kind of like if you're over in America for like the 12 months, actually just being part of their normal activities is incredible. Like the Super Bowl weekend, Independence Day, and things like that. Well, even Thanksgiving that you said, all that stuff to me when we've been fortunate enough to be over there when something like that's happened, it's just been great for me, especially when we've gone to a non-Disney event and kind of experienced proper USA rather than Disney USA.
Disney USA,
So, what's your favourite park in Orlando? It doesn't have to be a Disney one. It can be the dark side.
Oh my god!
It could be a Disney one, Bob.
So I always used to say, and I think really pushed, I would still probably say MGM or Hollywood Studios. I still refer to it as MGM sometimes. But obviously Epcot has a hugely special place in my heart now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I know the answer to this one already, but did you meet anybody famous, Charlotte, whilst you were working there?
So, we were lucky enough to be there during, obviously, like I said, during Christmas, well, all the seasons. We got to be in Epcot when the candlelight processional was going on. So obviously, as people know, it's lots of famous narrators and things like that. and we happened to spot and sort of meet. So it was quite funny. So you could either be in the UK Pavilion, you could either be on a till, or you could be doing tasks such as collecting hangers, doing tidying shelves and things like that. So I happened to be doing that when Neil Patrick Harris walked into the pavilion. So me and another girl were giving Mickey stickers out to guests and things like that, because that was another thing you were encouraged to do, just interact as much as possible. So we gave Neil Patrick Harris a Mickey sticker. That's my claim to fame.
I like that. I did wonder where you were going when you said Christmas. I wasn't, because I didn't know who you've met. I wasn't sure if you were going to say it was Santa. But at some point, I was like, yeah, that's quite famous.
Met Santa.
Yeah,
I know him.
So go on, give us the down low now. How do you really feel about guests?
Guests.
Yeah.
It would depend entirely on the day, I think, and how they interact with you. I think one of the funniest things is, one of the biggest misconceptions before I went that people always said to me was, oh, I bet Japanese tourists are so annoying. They're always taking pictures and things like that. When in actual fact, they were lovely. They were so polite. If they wanted a picture with you, they'd ask very nicely, be like super sweet.
Yeah.
So that was great. Tour groups. Oh my gosh.
Was it a certain nation's tour groups who won't
maybe
will remain nameless?
Remain nameless for fear of getting anybody cancelled.
But quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very hot country south of something. I remember vividly, I was going across to take over the till at the jewellery shop in the UK. My friend was stocking, I think, so they were going between a couple of shops. And they came over the bridge from France, a big tour group, down the hill. And it was like, I'm going to go and warn the rest of the shops. And my colleague just like ran off, like, they're coming. It was kind of like the water in the back of the Jeep in Jurassic Park moment, like, they're here.
Yeah.
but genuinely, it was overall, you had much more positive experiences with guests than you did negative.
Yeah.
Because yes, obviously, could catch people in bad moods on bad days, but they're at Disney. Ultimately, the people that are there are happy to be there.
So what's the one? Would you say there was one thing that guests do that drives cast members mental? That makes them go, oh my god!
There's always the classic. What time's the 3:00 parade? Or what times the fireworks? It's on the map there. It's the same every night.
Yeah.
We had some absolute bizarre questions. Not to me directly, but one of my friends was asked where the castle was. Bearing in mind, we're in Epcot. And they're like, oh, that's at Magic Kingdom, you can hop on the monorail.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, the castle's here. They were insistent that the castle moved, genuinely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So what about then? Obviously, for people watching now or anyone on Catch Up, what about? Is there anything that guests can do just to try and make cast members' life a bit easier? Just it's the one thing you say. Listen, if you can do this, you'll make your cast member a lot happier.
Don't shout at them.
There is that. Just chat with them in general. Just say thank you. Like a little bit of appreciation goes a long way. Like I remember, I think it was my first Extra Magic hours working.
Yeah.
I was at the outdoor cart in the UK, and there was a little girl there with her mum, and she was so sweet. And she said, "Thank you for staying here and not going to bed early so we can stay in the park." And I was like, "Oh, so cute."
Well, that's kind of those type of comments just make a difference, though, don't they?
Absolutely, huge difference. Absolutely.
Because it just kind of makes you think, well, at least someone's happy and grateful that we are doing what we are doing.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
On there, except for obviously the ones that have been standing for 4 hours waiting for the fireworks and people are pushing in front of them.
Yeah.
Definitely not a cast member role that I would like to do.
No.
Absolutely not.
Or don't let your child stand on those rocks in Canada to watch the fireworks. It's a safety hazard.
Yes, they will be asked to stand down.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, that is. So what about, I've got to ask, again, you don't have to reveal any. Have you got any backstage secrets?
I'm trying to think what I can say.
Yeah.
I once was calling my mom on my lunch break just for a catch up, and I remember certain characters walking ready to go on stage.
Yeah.
Carrying their own heads. And it's like we saw it all the time, but I just went, "Oh my god!" And Mum was like, "Are you okay? What's happened? What's happened?" Obviously, being a worried parent, and I was like, "Oh, it's just I've seen them with their own
Yeah, I've
heads."
just seen. Obviously, it'd be the headless horseman, wouldn't it? Because he actually does carry his head.
Yes, he
under
does
his
carry
arm.
his own head.
That's the- So also, did you when you kind of just before you walked out to do the actual job, the role? Did you have the mirror? Did you have to check in the mirror? Is there a mirror?
Yeah. Well, there is a Magic Kingdom.
There's the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
What's the one?
Are
in
you
Epcot?
show ready?
Are you show ready?
Yes, exactly. You have to be show ready.
And do you do that every day now, Charlotte? Do you have to walk
Absolutely not. No.
I do. Before I go on every conference call, I have a quick check in the mirror. Am I conference call ready? Yeah.
It's hard to know with the ears. No.
I'm conference call ready.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not on a video, of course.
Were you allowed like backstage in the other parks, or is that a big no-no?
You could do.
Yeah.
We just didn't very often. I think we went backstage to get a drink at Magic Kingdom once. Non-alcoholic, of course.
Of course.
But we just didn't really do it. If we were visiting another park, it was to be in the park. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But did you go down into the Utilidors?
I've been in the Utilidors.
Fantastic. And all these, I mean, you've been in, haven't you? As part of, have you been in?
Yeah, on Keys to the Kingdom. So for anybody that doesn't know, watching or on catch up or whatever, so Magic Kingdom is built on it's not the ground level, it's the first floor level. So underneath there's a whole network of tunnels and offices and restrooms and loads of different stuff down there where the workers scuttle about like little mice.
I just don't want to see that.
From one area to the other.
I do not want to see that. It just really
so that you don't see somebody in Tomorrowland costume in Frontierland.
I mean, it's very clever.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very clever. Great idea. But personally, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Charlotte's been down there.
Yes, yeah, but Charlotte's been down there as a cast member.
Yeah.
Not as a guest.
Well, I don't think you're allowed in as a guest, apart from if you're on a tour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I was a cast member, I'd be down there all the time and not popping up, do work. Where's he gone? It's like, yeah, I'm just sat there. So we're getting close to wrapping up now, Charlotte. We haven't got too long to go on there, so you're nearly through with us. And so, obviously, what would you say was the best thing about being a cast member? And just as crucially, what would you say was the worst thing about being a cast member?
So I'll start with worst first.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times homesickness was a very big thing.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, you're surrounded by friends that are going through the same, so you did have a lot of support there. But it was a very, very real issue, I guess. It was quite unfortunate. My grandpa wasn't very well, and he passed away just after I got there. I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. My family were very supportive, and my friends that I'd made already just like rallied round. So that was great, but it was difficult to not be with my family at a time like that. The best thing I would say is either being part of so many people's holidays, or the friends that I made while I was there and things like that. I think that together sort of changed who I was for the better as an experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'd say.
Excellent. And obviously, if you had the opportunity, and your life allowed it, would you do it again?
If life allowed it, yes. But
Yeah.
I am very comfy now in my nice new house with my fiance and my puppy. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
if
So
they
all
can
you
come
need
with
to do-
me, then
Yeah, I might say what you need to do is figure out a way of getting your fiance, or at least definitely your puppy, over there. You know,
puppy's a priority.
puppy's the priority, and then
He's a service animal.
there you go.
Service
He
animal.
is.
There you go. So
He's an emotional support dog.
he's a service animal, and then just got to find a way for the puppy as well. Oh, right. And if anyone, whoever's watching, if they're thinking, should I, shouldn't I, what would you say, Charlotte? Would you say, yes, you should try it, have a go, or that, have a think before doing it? What would you go with?
I would say, like the way you phrase it, if your life allows it, if you're having even an inkling of going, go for it 100%.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns, but there is with life in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the opportunity of working for one of the biggest companies in the world of entertainment and customer service, it's just absolutely invaluable. I think the experience that I got there set me up for life. It changed me as a person for the better. And I don't think I'd be who I was without that experience. So even if you're thinking of it, definitely go for it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
No, it sounds. I think obviously we've always tried to encourage whoever we know to have a look at it, haven't we?
Yeah.
On there, it's just one of those where if you haven't done it, it's a big jump, isn't it? So fantastic that you had it go. And obviously, for people watching, that you've got a former cast member, Charlotte, telling you now.
Do it,
basically, is what.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Charlotte, I think we're coming to an end there, aren't we?
Done.
And that is just fantastic. It's been great talking to you.
No, it's been really good fun.
It's been incredibly interesting because it's just been great to find out all the insights and that you hate Mickey Mouse. I mean, I'm shocked that you obviously decided to tell us that, but
We'll just say again, Bob's watching.
Yeah, Bob's watching, and there was no underage drinking at all.
Nothing.
Well.
Charlotte didn't nearly get kicked out of Jelly Rolls.
In my defence, that didn't happen after the programme, so that's fine.
That's fantastic. That is, I love that. And you definitely didn't get termed.
No,
you didn't get
I made it.
You lasted the 12 months.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on, Charlotte.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all.
And that's it, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
There's no show next week, guys, because
you're not here.
I'm not here.
You're not here.
No.
I'm here, but I'm not allowed to do the show.
Well, you
Plus, it would be quite boring if I did the show by myself.
can. I'm going on a special preview trip.
Yes, we're not asking where.
Ask me where.
Where are you going?
I'm going to see Tron.
Going to see Tron. And where are you going to see Tron? In Florida. And how long are you over there for?
The weekend.
Honestly, fantastic.
So the weekend after, which is what, the 25th, 26th, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll do a full roundup of Tron.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit of Flower and Garden Festival too.
Excellent stuff. That's great. And once again, we just want to say thank you very, very much to Charlotte. And thank you so much for spending the last 40 odd minutes with us. We really do appreciate it, Charlotte. And we will leave it there. What did we say?
Keep on tracking.
You came out there straight away. Yeah, keep on tracking.
Keep on tracking.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.